Yeah, just a couple days back from Gen Con, back in Florida. Got a couple days off before I need to go back to work again. Um, just going for a little bit of a morning walk. Like I didn't walk enough at Gen Con. But yeah, so um, anyway, uh, I was in the past a reviewer of board games. I had a YouTube channel, this channel that I'm going to restart. I took a year off from Gen Con, so I went this year, first time in 2 years. Last year I went was 2022, and it's just because we uprooted ourselves. We moved from Kentucky to Southwest Florida, away from family, friends, basically just because we are outdoor people. We love the beach. We were vacationing in Florida 3 times a year, and we were spending roughly, I don't know, every time we came down here, I felt like we spent thousands of dollars. And so we came to the conclusions like, hey, we could work down there. So I got a job. My wife got a job. And over the past few years, I've been just learning to adjust to Florida. Haven't really played a lot of board games, to be honest with you. I mean, a couple plays of Lords of Vegas. I haven't really, some card games like Fun Party games or something like that. Cards Against Humanity, Cyanide Happiness, things like that. But I haven't really had the chance to find the game group. And luckily, a couple people in the Dice Tower group told me about the gaming bash they have here in Fort Myers about once every 3 months or so. So they have another one coming up, and I'm gonna go there, But anyway, just got back from Gen Con, first time in a couple years. Really enjoyed myself. Love being in that culture again. It's so different. I don't even know how to explain it. I feel myself there. My wife was happy that I was happy, and to the point where she doesn't normally go on that trip with me. It's usually just like me and a bunch of friends go. But because we live so far away now, we don't get to see much family and friends like during the year. Maybe we get people to visit during Thanksgiving or during Christmas, but that's pretty much it. So I know she mentions it, but she mentioned to me this morning that she wants to go next year. She wants to go to her first Gen Con, which made me super excited because it'll be a good vacation I could take with her, and she can experience the things I experienced, have a lot of fun while I'm there. So that being said, because I took that trip, I drove from Fort Myers, Southwest Florida, all the way to Kentucky, and then to Indiana, and then I came from Indianapolis back. I drove it in roughly one day, around 1 o'clock in the morning. I did stop in southern Georgia, but my timing was very poor because I ended up having to drive through a hurricane the next day. But I made it back safe. But all that being said, had a lot of time to think and reflect, get back to a lot of things I used to do. Like, I love paddleboarding, exercising, eating healthy. Over the past couple years, I've let some things go. And then I always felt like I was missing part of my life. And so going to Gen Con made me realize, because I didn't even know I was going to go. I was like, okay, well, I didn't go last year, so it's going to be a longer trip for me, which means more money. And besides some hotel situations where they upgraded my room without asking once the thing got... So anyway, I'm not going to say which hotel, but it wasn't a connecting hotel. It was a couple miles away, but it's still downtown. Basically, when everything transferred over from Gen Con to them, they upgraded my room. Normally I wouldn't have an issue with this. I like getting upgraded rooms. It's happened in the past. My wife and I, like I said, we travel. We used to go to the beach a lot. We traveled to Florida, different parts. But this time kind of irritated me because not only did they upgrade my room, they also charged me for the upgraded room, which is not something I asked for, and it's not something I planned for. So I was a little upset because I had called the hotel 2 or 3 times in the course of the weeks before Gen Con, asking why I haven't received my confirmation email. And they kept telling me, it's like, oh, well, we'll get it, you'll get it. And I asked, I said, well, can I pay everything in advance? Because I know a lot of times I'm not looking to like save money on it, right? I just want to pay it in advance, so that's one less thing I have to worry about when I get down there. So we go back and forth, and even the day before we went, I called to confirm the address of the hotel. Usually we stay downtown, but this is the first time I've stayed like that in quite a few years. That wasn't a connecting room downtown. So basically we knew we were going to have to like Uber in or drive in every day. So anyway, what had happened is she confirmed the address, and then I said, hey, I still didn't get the confirmation email. Can you confirm the price of the hotel with me? And she did, and it was the exact same price that Gen Con, but once it transferred over, that I agreed to pay. Now I knew there were taxes in there, but you know, I'm good at math, so I can figure out, you know, the taxes, and I budgeted for just a little bit more money. So basically what happened, we get there, and they had not yet taken the deposit out. So we got there Wednesday, and we were just walking around the convention hall, and I get an alert on my phone that says, hey, you were charged this much money by this hotel. And I was like, oh, they took the deposit out. I didn't pay much attention to it. I just kind of alerted. It came over on my watch. So I just kind of brushed it off. And then we were eating dinner down at Kilroy's. And if you haven't eaten at Kilroy's, I would definitely recommend going. It is a bar. It does have bar food, but the food is really good. But anyway, I'm sitting there looking, and I noticed the one night deposit taken out was much more, considerably more, than what a one night deposit should be for this hotel. And this isn't the most luxurious hotel either. I mean, this was like, I mean, I would put it on the same level as like a Quality Inn or something like that, which aren't bad hotels, but you know, they're mainly for like people that are traveling. They're just needing an overnight stay. So I mean, it was a bit nicer than that, but you know, you wouldn't expect. And I know Gen Con, they inflate prices. Like, I get it, Indy inflates prices and that. Everybody does. Not a huge concern. So I was like, okay, well, that's strange. I'll just address it when I get to the hotel and try to figure out what's going on. There wasn't any use for me calling because we were heading back to the hotel in about an hour anyway. So it's like, I'll just take it up with them there. They already took my deposit out, so at least at minimum, I was going to get one night stay. You know what I'm saying? So we get there, and my friend who drove from Kentucky to Indianapolis, thank God he did that, by the way, because that is a long drive from Southwest Florida all the way to Indy. Roughly around, depending on where you go, it's like 18 to 20 hours, depending on how many times you stop. Well, I go to check in, and the lady there, super nice lady. I have nothing against the staff there. I know it wasn't them that did this, but she told me the remaining price, which was literally the price of the entire stay that I initially thought. So I said, oh, so I said, that's the total cost, because it looks like you already took the deposit out. She said, yes, we did take the deposit out. This is your total cost with the deposit taken out. So I initially said, okay, why is it more expensive? Then she said, well, you probably didn't figure in taxes. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I get taxes for hotels and like in like the that industry. My wife works for Margaritaville Resorts. I get all that. So, and I was like, I said, that's not right. That's much higher. And I was like, can you tell me what's going on here? So she told me, she said, well, you booked this room. And I said, I did not book that room. I said, I booked a king with a pull-out sofa, which was cheaper because I was being a little bit frugal because longer trip, you know. And I don't mind sleeping on a pull-out bed. That doesn't bother me. I'm there for a convention, you know. I know I'm not going to get a ton of sleep anyway. She said, no, we booked this room for you. It's much nicer. It's much bigger. I was like, okay. I said, why am I paying for it? That's not what I asked for. And she said, well, the owner said that because there were two of us, that we had to be upgraded to that room, and that my room was just going to go to somebody that was just like a single. And so, once again, that didn't make a lot of sense because when I booked the room, it clearly stated sleeps 2 to 4 with a king and a pull-out bed. And it was cheaper, which is why I booked it, because so they upgraded us to this big room. I tried not to get mad, but it did cost me as much money to stay at that hotel 2 miles away. It's not the best hotel in the world. Like, it's not like the Marriott downtown Indy where like it's super nice, you know. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill hotel. And I paid just as much, if not more, than any time I stayed downtown, like connecting. And even with parking. So now we had to worry about parking on top of that. And here I had to spend basically $300 to $400 more for a hotel. And I'm just kind of stuck. I mean, it's not like I can drive back and forth to Florida every day to hit Indy. So I paid for it, and my friend that went up there paid for the parking. And so that's just like the one bad experience I had there. I just know that like going forward, like regardless of how close the hotel is, I will not stay at that brand of hotels anymore because I feel like that was kind of crappy for the owner, who wasn't even there, by the way. And another thing they did, this was kind of minor, but they opened the little convention room that they had there. Most hotels have like a convention room. This one wasn't huge, and you know, Gen Con, Midwest, hot this time of year. I'm being for Florida, but it's like a different kind of heat up there. And it was hot, you know, and they wouldn't turn on the AC. So when I went to ask, well, a couple of us that were gaming there went to ask about it. She said, well, I can't turn it on. The owner has to do that. I guess everything is connected by maybe like an app or something, but like none of the thermostats had any kind of access where you could change it. Now, admittedly, she tried. She really did. But she said the owner's at a convention right now and he doesn't want to be disturbed. He said at no point to call him, which honestly, like, in my former profession, before I moved down here, I was a manager. In the profession I have right now, I'm also a manager. If I have customers that aren't happy, I'm going to figure out why, and I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that they remain happy. Especially if it's an event like Gen Con, because Gen Con brings millions of dollars of revenue to downtown Indy, to Indianapolis every year. Every year. And these hotels benefit of it greatly. Some of these hotels, Gen Con makes or break them for the whole year. You know, it really does. And none of the people in the room were happy. It was hot. None of us wanted a game. So basically, we all packed up early and left. The room, I didn't go back down there the next day. Just that one night was enough for me. Any gaming I did going forward, I just did it at the demo tables at Gen Con. So that was kind of a bummer. But the con itself was absolutely fantastic. Reminded me why I enjoy the community I'm in. Everybody was nice, pretty accepting. I mean, besides getting whomped by a couple of bags in the vendor hall, but I'll be honest to you, man, that vendor hall was as packed as I'd ever seen it. Like, even in the slower times of the day, around lunch and toward the end of the day, it was still pretty packed. Now, Thursday and Saturday were pretty bad. Friday and Sunday were good. Like, I didn't have any issues Friday or Sunday. It was really just Thursday and Saturday, which are the 2 busiest days of the con, so I get it. They did a better job with lines this year. I heard last year they had an issue with the Lorcana line, but this year they didn't have they didn't have those same issues anymore. But anyway, I tell you all that to tell you this. I'm restarting my channel. So it's going to be a little bit different. I don't know if I'm going to do like straight board game reviews anymore. It may just be talking about the board gaming culture. It may be some vlogs at different places I travel. I'm definitely going to get some stuff at this board game bash that I'm going to in about a month here in Fort Myers. And I know some of the Dice Tower guys are going to be there. I actually got to play a game with Eric Summerer from Dice Tower while I was at Gen Con. That was kind of cool in their booth. So that was really cool. So I'm going to start the channel up. Now, I originally took all the old video. I originally took everything down. When I closed the channel, I closed everything. I took all the videos off. Unfortunately, I don't have any access to any of my live streams anymore, like when I was playing video games or something like that on the channel. Because sometimes I'll do that. I'll just play some video games, you know, and just talk to people while I'm playing. We can talk about board games or whatever. So those aren't up there anymore. But I do have an archive of all the game reviews I did. And even though those games aren't new anymore, I think I'm going to go ahead and repost that. Repost them just to get some sort of content on the channel. Unfortunately, I didn't do any kind of travel vlog for Gen Con because when I was driving up there, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I've been to Gen Con before. Like, literally, I started going to Gen Con in 2014. I know what to expect. But I was a little, I don't know what the word was. I was very cautious on getting too excited because what if this board game feeling that I had, like being around people who play board games, just having fun playing board games, what if it died? What if I kind of grew out of it when I moved down here? Like, did I make a mistake? And I'll tell you right now, the minute I walked in, like, you know, by Thursday, by the time I stepped into the con, I forgot about all the hotel issues we had. You know, yeah, it was in the back of my mind. I knew I didn't have as much money to spend anymore, but I was, you know, I'd forgotten all about that. So now, here I am. I'm back in this culture that, and it is a culture that I enjoy being in, and just watching everything. Everybody's just so happy. People running to events. I got to see a lot of people running events. It was just on the way back home from Indy. I had about, with that hurricane I had to drive through, I had about 16, 17 hours to myself just to think about everything. And I did come to the decision to go ahead and start doing the channel again. I haven't decided if we're going to start the podcast back up again yet, because I am going to have help on that, because you guys don't want to see me talk for an hour or hear me talk for an hour. You know, I'm going to have some co-hosts, and the 2 people that used to do it with me, one of them just is not interested anymore. The other person was kind of wishy-washy about it. Didn't know if he was going to be interested in doing it either. And then I just have to figure out the logistics of actually doing a podcast once or twice a month. And but I will tell you this, that once I get the channel started back up, I mean, there's a lot of equipment that I'm going to have to repurchase that I had gotten rid of or given away. But I still have my camera. I no longer have a tripod, but I'm going to figure out how to do it. And one of the first series of videos I'm going to do is a countdown to Gen Con, but it's not going to be like a week countdown. I'm going to start it as soon as I can, and that way we can keep the hype going, you know. Like, if anything Gen Con showed me this year is that our hobby, our culture, our life is very strong. Broke all attendance records. And this community is going to go for a long time. It's on very stable ground. And hopefully a year from now, I won't be making a video like this. I'll just be making a video for my channel over the cool games I got at Gen Con, which will also be another video I got. I didn't get as many games, though, that I normally do, just because of travel concerns and the hotel incident. I pulled money out of my board game account. Basically, like, the money I brought for board games, that's what paid for that. But yeah, I'm super excited to get this started again. And even if you don't watch the channel or the video, you know, maybe somebody will look at it and learn about something. But we're going to be doing it going forward. I'm serious about this. I want to get back into the hobby whichever way I can, and we're going to do it. So we'll talk to you soon.